Hey guys, Drifter here, welcome to Ghosts in Depth. In today's episode, we'll be reviewing the FP6 shotgun. This is the big boy in the shotgun group, the high damage shotgun, the one and done, the FP6. I'm showing you gameplay on a big map because, well, we're playing Call of Duty Ghosts. It's got very big maps, and if you're using shotguns in this game, most of the time you'll find yourself playing on a big map. There's a few smaller ones, and of course it's more effective on Sovereign and Strike Zone, but again, most of the time you'll be playing a larger map, so I wanted to show you gameplay from that. And before I move into the numbers, I'd like to give you a little tip, and that's that when you're playing shotguns, you should not be afraid to pick up other weapons. I don't do it a whole lot here on In-Depth because I want to show just the shotgun, but you should not be afraid to pick up something like an assault rifle or a submachine gun or something that's going to give you a little bit of extra range should you need it. And supposedly, the Ask Drifter app is going to be live on iOS today, or for your iPhone. The link is down there in the description. I make these episodes a little bit in advance, and they told me it was going live. If it was not, I apologize, and I'll bug you about it again later. But now let's talk about the damage on the FP6. The FP6 is a high damage shotgun, especially in close quarters combat, dealing 100 damage per shot, but then dropping off to a meager 10 damage per shot at a distance, or per pellet, or per buck, or however you want to call it, and it gets 8 pellets per trigger pull, 8 pellets per squeeze, 8 pellets per shot, however you want to say that, so it might be more appropriate to look at the total damage on the shotgun, which is 800 to 80, bearing in mind you only need 100 damage to kill somebody. With a close quarters combat, you could kill them with just one of the 8 pellets, which is very dangerous, or you could kill 8 people if they spread about, kind of funny. However, at longer ranges, if for whatever reason all of your pellets hit, it'll only deal 80 damage, meaning you could hit somebody with an entire load of buck right to the face at long ranges, because there's no headshot multipliers on this gun, or on shotguns in the game, and they could still live, which is kind of a scary thing. It's not a thing that I particularly like. Again, I'm going to reference you to the Slugs in-depth episode. They have their own in-depth, because slug rounds are kind of complicated. On this gun, they're basically one-shot kills up to about 15 to 20-ish meters, and then they drop off, but however, due to the low rate of fire, I don't particularly like it. The range on the FP6 is very low at 12 meters. You would think a big boy shotgun would have a low rate of fire and a longer range, but the range is only 1 meter more than the Bulldog, which was 11 meters. This is not very far. This is maybe, we'll say, European broadsword range. Like if you had a long sword, or perhaps something like a bow staff, and you could reach out and poke some, no, 12 meters is actually a little bit more than that. It's probably closer to 15 yards, but in the video game world, in Call of Duty, and especially in Ghosts, it is very, very, very short range, and because you have a very steep damage drop-off, this gun has a relatively short one-shot kill range, which you'll need to master for maximum effectiveness. As I mentioned before, the rate of fire is very slow. This is not the slowest firing shotgun, but it is near to the slowest firing at 800, my bad, not 800, I almost misread that, 89 RPM, and that's at a maximum. It is something of a select fire with a very long delay while you do the pumping action, and if you sprint and then recover from sprinting and you haven't pumped, you still have to pump to shoot it, and you can't cancel the pump. So do bear in mind it shoots very, very slowly. Because of this very high damage, let's say an extreme range where you're either going to one-hit kill them or do nothing, and the relatively low distance on that range, this shotgun is either going to kill in one hit or you're going to die. It's one and done. You very, very rarely get a second shot. If you get a second shot in, the enemy was either facing the other way or they're just a dumb enemy. If you're playing decent people and you don't get a kill on your first shot with this shotgun, then you're just going to die. And you need to accept that fact when you're playing with this weapon, and you need to play with that sort of mentality. You have to put yourself in the range to get the one shot and kill them, or just go home. Recoil mechanics on this weapon are more or less non-applicable because by the time you are able to get that second shot ready, the weapon is already recentered. It could kick as high as it wanted to, and all it would do is obstruct your vision. You'll still be accurate for the next shot. What would perhaps be more appropriate to discuss would be the Hipfire Spread. It has decent Hipfire Spread. It has the third tightest Hipfire Spread. It's better than some of the weapons and not as good as some of the other ones. It's not something I'd really worry about. It's not bad Hipfire Spread, and yes, when you aim down sights, you do get a benefit. Like when you aim down sights, your Hipfire Spread does tighten up a good bit. It's not as much as, say, something like the TAC-12, which has a smart choke, but it is a benefit to you. It's not as beneficial when you're running steady aim because it tightens up to a fixed number. So let's say the numbers will have, I'm going to pick one, it's like 8, and when you aim down sights, it spreads to a 5, and this is like in, you know, little game units or whatever. However, when you're running steady aim, you can have like a hipfire of 6. It'll still just go down to 5. So running steady aim, when you aim down sights, you get a little benefit, but not a whole lot of benefit. I still do do it a lot though because I want to get all of my pellets hitting and I want to have the best chance to kill, which brings me to the next point. The aim down sights time is 0.2 seconds, which is very, 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 very fast. That's faster than submachine guns, faster than assault rifles, faster than quickscoping, faster than pistols. It's extremely, extremely fast, and when you stack quick draw in this class, you can ADS very quickly. However, most of the time I didn't really need it. I can still just ADS very quickly without quick draw. Reload is a little bit on the slow side. You've only got 5 rounds in the mag, which we'll move on to next, but you have 0.83 seconds per shell or per shot that you load in. It's a little bit slower than 1 per second essentially, and there is an additional benefit to the start and the end. So you have to have the starting animation, the shells, and then the ending animation. So I typically reload after I expend 2 or 3 shots, or just whenever it's safe, and I really, really like to have a full chamber of shells just ready to go. If you put extended mags on it, you're only going to get 7. So there's not really a huge benefit at extended mags to me, not when I could do something like muzzle brake or red dot or any of the other variety of attachments. So I never use extended mags on this. I'll just stick with my 5 standard mags, and very rarely do I need all 5 shots anyway, since it's basically a one-shot kill weapon, which is what I would rate this shotgun as. This is the best shotgun in the entire game for getting one-shot kills. If you really, really want one-shot kills and don't care about anything else in the entire game, this is the shotgun for you, because you will get the most one-shot kills, especially when you aim down sights. I use the dot sight so that I'm a little bit more accurate. Especially when you aim down sights and shoot them, you are going to get the most amount of one-shot kills. It's not the fastest, it's not the best, it's really not even the most overall deadly, but if you really just like punishing people and one-shot killing them, this is the shotgun for you. The caveat to that one-shot kills is that it happens in a very specific range, and my advice to you is that you really need to master this weapon to get a feel for the range. I played several games with it. This was definitely not my first game because I had some mastery issues to work on. You need to play with this weapon a lot to get a very good feel of the one-shot kill range and how tight your spread is and that sort of stuff, and especially how your reload animation and cocking animation works, so that you know when you will get your one-shot kills and when you won't, when you'll be 2, and you have to play this like a 100% I don't know, like all-in kind of gamble. Like you have to. You absolutely have to get in very close for the one-shot kills, or just don't use this gun. If you're too afraid to charge people a little bit, to take the gamble on your health, to soak up a few shots, just don't use the FP6, use something else. And that's kind of my general advice with shotguns in this game. This is Call of Duty Ghosts. The game has huge maps. It's a more stationary Call of Duty than other games, so using a shotgun is very rarely going to put you in an advantage. I don't use them very often, but if you want one-shot kills, go with the FP6. And this is my best FP6 class. I use a red dot sight on it so that when I do aim down sights to pop people, it's more accurate. Some people like the iron sights. If you don't need it, that's okay, but none of the other attachments are very useful, like foregrip, well, whatever, or slugs. I don't really use those, so I don't need them. I use muzzle brake to give me a little bit of extra range. That'll bump me up to maybe like 14 meters in my maximum range, give me another meter of one-shot kill lethality, which doesn't sound like a whole lot, but when you're playing a game of inches, it's very, very, very important. I use ready up and sleight of hand. Ready up so that I can hip fire fast after sprinting. Sleight of hand helps me reload faster. I don't want to be caught reloading. Marathon and agility go together like peanut butter and jelly. I like to run very, very fast, and I like to have unlimited sprint. I'll run all over this map very, very fast and nail people. I get places quickly. The most important perk in this entire setup is, again, steady aim. That tightens your hipfire spread and makes your shotgun much, much, much more deadly. So I very highly recommend steady aim. I also rock ICU so that I can recover quickly. I get in combat, I take shots, it's kind of dangerous, and then I roll out, I recover quickly with ICU, and I go back in with Specialist. Specialist is my next set. I run Specialist a lot because I feel like I need more perks with this shotgun. With shotguns in general, shotguns are really more of a KEM strike kind of weapon, more like a show-off kind of class, and you really need a lot more perks than what you're allowed to have to do well with this sort of weapon, so I run Specialist a lot. Well guys, that's all for this episode of In Depth. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something useful. If you'd like to check out the previous episode, which was on the IED nerf, you can click the box on the left. It'll open a new window. If you'd like to check out the next episode, it'll be on the MTS shotgun, the sort of cowboy-style one. We'll have some fun with that one. Be sure to check out my sponsor, Elgato, in the description. The Ask Drifter app is live, and as always, if you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.